And I think it's good they're meeting in Islamabad. I hope there is a solution because our history shows that wars that start with one or two or three countries sometimes escalate and turn into a bigger, wider global war. For India, the biggest concern is oil prices, energy security, and the safety of millions living in the Gulf. We need to look at it in a different viewpoint. We need to maintain balance rather than taking sides. And we have relationships with all parties. We should leverage that. Our strength lies in Gandhian philosophy and ahimsa and nonviolence. The Pope um, has said that the God does not take sides in wars and does not support wars. India has a stabilizing voice and credibility, and we should use that to build bridges in terms of crisis. Um, I think it's sad that United Nations was created to avoid all this, but over a period of time, the United Nations has lost a real power. The five countries that have a veto power pretty much have made United Nations weak. At times like this, UN should be playing a bigger role, but it's clear that nobody's going to listen. One of the worst things happening to India is that we have 18% of the world's population living in India, but we don't have a seat in the United Nations Security Council. Unfortunately, the UN was created in 1945 when there was no India. So UK got a seat, which was proxy for India, I suppose, in 1945. But since then, these five countries that have a proxy won't let, especially China, won't let India become a UN Security Council member. And it requires a two-thirds of the vote of United Nations plus the five members to vote India in as a sixth member. And it's a noise that we should be making all of the time. Um, the worst thing about all this war business is that the global economy will suffer and ordinary people will suffer, not governments. And ordinary people like all of us will bear the greatest and the longest lasting costs. Um, so here we are. So let's talk about the impact of war for India and what as lawyers we can do. Um, Let me start with I'll ask you questions. Please introduce yourself. Say a sentence or two about where you are, what you do, and let me ask you a question. So let me start with Gagan, President of ILA Chandigarh. Gagan, so in the current sanctions environment, what are the most common dispute triggers you see in oil and cross-border contracts? Are arbitration clauses, um, can they be used in high-risk jurisdictions like Iran? What's going on in Chandigarh and with your clients around the country?
Yes, I am glad. Firstly, I am glad and I'm thankful to have this session. And with regard to the query and the topic of discussion for today, the current scenario which is going on in the world and the intents on the business and the businesses are right now still on hold and watching what is happening in the world. So, firstly, my clients are experiencing and challenging the payments issue and the ongoing contracts also. So, the difficulty is the contracts which are already in existence. So, there is a lot of difficulty because there are some kind of parties who are opportunities and they are taking the plea of the force majeure. So this is the biggest issue because despite of the contracts, prevailing contracts, the suppliers are increasing the prices of every commodity. So there's the some of the suppliers from India also, like in pharmaceuticals, I deal with the pharmaceutical companies more. So they have increased 25% of their supplies and the prices of the supplies to the foreign countries on the ground that there is a lot of hike in the raw material and the war-like situation, and they are also raising in artificial demand also. So they are calling their buyers in Gulf countries that war is likely to happen. So there will be a lot of need of the medicines for the animal husbandry, medicines for the humans. So it is good to stock the medicines. So the of course some of the uh, businesses are flourishing, but the thing is, some of the people are also exploiting the situation right now. So
Right.
this is the major concern, and the second thing is the routing and the holding of the ships in the sea. So recently, my one of the client is a big biscuit company, sent the goods to Uganda. So the sea is being halted somewhere, and wrongly they have made themselves as the assignee of the shipment. So they didn't uh, fail to route the ship to the consignee, and ultimately the consignee refused to make the payment right now, and he also refused to take the delivery of the goods. So the products are the perishable goods, and they're halting somewhere in sea, and the my client is wandering from one pillar to post to just to know that how his dispute will be resolved, or how to recover the payment. So these are the some major issues which are coming. Third is the banking sector also. Some banking mode of the payments are also being clustered, uh, and another thing is as you know, sir, there is an FEMA laws under section 46 of the FEMA. We have to recover the money within a period of nine months, and if that money doesn't come, then the consignor is also liable to be prosecuted in India as per the FEMA rules and regulations. So, where there is a sanction or there is a warlike situation, if the money is not coming, and the Indian consignor is also uh, have to face the FEMA consequences. So that is something which kind of disputes right now are escalating right now.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's very helpful.
All right,
So,
sir.
Advocate Gitesh Khannaji, um, now how can companies structure cross-border energy deals, and how do companies stay in compliant with the international sanctions framework?
In today's environment, cross-border energy deals are no longer just commercial transactions, they are compliance architectures. The difference between a successful deal and a sanctioned one is not intent but the structure. So basically, my core answer stands on the four structured pillars. So to remain compliant, companies today must structure energy transactions around four core pillars. One is compliance mapping before contracting. Before any deal is signed, companies must map applicable sanction regimes, banking and payment restrictions, shipping and insurance limitations. Second pillar, deep counterparty due diligence. Lawyers must ensure full beneficial ownership screening, sanctions list verification, supply chain transparency. Since liability does not arise only from who you contract with, but from who stands behind them. The third core pillar is the structured payment and shipping models. As he stated, Advocate Gagan stated, most violations occur during payment routing, vessel operations, insurance validations. Best practice includes escrow-based payments, approved banking check channels, verified shipping documents. In energy trade, the vessel and the payment routes are the highest legal risk zones. And the fourth core pillar is a built-in legal exit mechanisms. Modern contracts must allow companies to disengage safely if sanctions arise. Sanction compliances clauses, termination rights, sanction raise, force majeure, indemnity protections. These are the things that should be
Wonderful.
all taken
Thank you.
care of.
Thank you, Gitesh. Kapil, what's going on in your life and your clients? And from a strategic point of view, how should Indian businesses balance commercial interests with legal risks in dealing with all the sanctioned jurisdictions? Do you have any clients dealing with Iran?
Right, thank you so much, sir. That's a really important question right now, looking at the present scenario. And although I do not have any clients per se who are dealing directly with sanctioned countries, but that's a relevant point because I'm practicing at Jaipur, and Jaipur has built up quite a good export-oriented unit. The government is also facilitated the area for export-oriented units, and 100% EOIs is being granted. The customs duty also is favorable to the commercial companies. As such, the real important question is that since there are countries where US sanctions are being imposed. Now, in that scenario, the commercial companies have to see how the contracts are drafted. Now, in that particular case, we have to see whether we are following the Chabad port or we are going through the international north-south corridor. The transaction has to be binding between the parties, and as my learned colleagues have already said, that the force majeure clause is a real important thing. That has to be seen that it includes the sanctions and the conditions that are ongoing as of now should be made part of it. Secondly, the contract should also have a clause where the dispute mechanism is being structured in a way where we have a second transaction or a second way so that the companies do not face payment failures or time bound deliveries. In that particular scenario, if we say that a particular company has to make a deal with, say, Iran or any other US sanctioned countries, in that case, we as a lawyer would have to suggest that there should be an alternative transaction also. First of all, we have to avoid as much as US deals. Any transaction involving US dollars should be avoided. Rupee and real transaction should be followed. Secondly, there is also an arbitral dispute. Now, that arbitral dispute mechanism should be followed through either London International Arbitration Center, where we can have an impartial and neutral arbitration proceedings for the countries or for the companies who are into disputes. There is a warlike situation, and God bless if there is anything in future, then of course there would be a big trouble for Indian companies because we are primarily exporting pharma and rice. Now, in that case, there is a very good opportunity that a barter system is being followed by few of the companies. Now, in that barter system, if we say that we are exporting rice or pharma, in exchange of that, we can have the oil or dry fruits, whatever they are being exported from Iran. And since the RBI guidelines are also favorable to us in that scenario, where we avoid making payments in US dollars and following the barter system, it will be good for a company to sustain in such a scenario. That's fine.
Wonderful. Hitesh, how are things in Thane and Mumbai? And you do a lot of mediation and arbitration. Can we use that as a dispute resolution mechanism in cases involving sanctions and restricted jurisdictions? And how do you even do a mediation or arbitration with these restricted jurisdictions? And what role can we play as lawyers?
First of all, sir, I would like to thank the ILA for conducting this session. Well, everything is going good into the Thane jurisdiction. Uh, I would like to say that in today's global environment, sanctions often disrupt contracts, payments get blocked, shipments are delayed, or performance becomes impossible. In such situation, arbitration provides a neutral, flexible, and confidential platform where parties from different countries can resolve disputes without going to national courts, which may be biased or politically influenced. However, the real challenge is not in conducting arbitration, it is in enforcing the award. So even if a party wins, sanctions may restrict asset transfers or block enforcement in certain jurisdictions. So while arbitration works well at the dispute resolution stage, enforcement becomes a challenging issue. So I would like to give an example that say suppose an Indian company may win an arbitration against an entity, but if the payment channel is blocked due to sanctions, recovery becomes very difficult. So I would like to say that arbitration is effective in resolving disputes, but its success ultimately depends on enforceability in a sanctions impacted world. So I believe that mediation will play a very vital role over the arbitrations, where both the parties can mutually come to across amicable solutions.
Thank you, thank you. So, Dr. Juneja, how's ILA Rohtak doing? Uh, what's happening from an industry point of view? You're so close to the center of the country, the political and economic power of Delhi. What are you listening from the politicians of India? Why are the Indian politicians keeping quiet and not saying, interfering in the war and giving Gandhian lectures like we should be doing or we used to do? Why is everybody so quiet? Mute. Sushil, you're muted. Unmute kar lo. Muted again. Okay. While Sushil is fixing his audio, let me go to our friend in Gwalior, Nakul Mittalji. How are you doing, Nakulji? And my question to you is, um, in the international oil trade, what are the biggest challenges and compliance for lawyers in India dealing with the international oil trade? What is your advice to clients and other lawyers?
So the biggest challenge in the international waters is being faced is the compliance part, the enforceability of the agreements, as well as rightly said, as pointed out by earlier members, about the clause of force majeure. It prohibits the enforceability to such extent and how it is changes the dynamics of the whole enforceability of the deal. So now the trade is to be turned in is getting turned into liability for the business owners. And that's where the legal strategy needs to be implemented. We need to structure the contract in such a way that compliance doesn't come in a, we can say, a hurdle. First, the primary object of any trade deal is securing the payment for the goods sent. for any of exporter in India, or maybe if we are importing as well the oil. So the primarily issue comes with the currency which we have to deal in, and that's generally the US dollars. And while we go through the corporate contracts, we find one thing, that it is very detailed with what currency we are dealing, and that's generally singled out. Like we need to have that mechanism included in the contract itself, that real and rupee, we can say that when the SWIFT is unavailable as per the sanctions, like the US sanctions will expire for India as well, where the we were allowed to purchase Russian oil through the general licenses by US. So we need to have that system in ourselves, our contracts, that it automatically changes the mode of payment without frustrating the contract. We need to get into the Vostro system instead of Swift, and we can switch to it without any lacuna, well, without any, I'll say, hurdle or even an intimation to the other party. That should be a primarily agreed between both the parties, and subsequently, we will need to have a strategic diversification for the risk and the cost. We need to weigh the risk as well as the cost involved. And the exim business players right now need to understand what is the risk involved with them and what is the cost they have to pay to get that risk in their favor. And subsequently, what we are noticing is that there is no buffer for the buyer or the seller, where he is suffering in the part that he doesn't get immediate relief. He suffers on that part. So we need to figure that part as well. And that can be done only by the negotiation table where the terms of the contracts are defined. And that way we can work on this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sushil, is your microphone working? You talk? We still can't hear you. I want to welcome Satyajit Gupta. He's General Counsel of EXL in Noida and the new president of ILA Noida. We didn't ask him to be a speaker, so I'm just picking on him since I saw him join. How are you doing, Satyajit?
Hi, I'm so sorry for joining late. I just had a warning. We had a sudden meeting with the police for some
Yeah.
proceedings.
Well,
So
there's
just
a
running a bit
penalty.
late.
There's a penalty for joining late. You get to talk now.
No, oh, okay. I thought penalty would be you sponsor the e-samosas, but
Yeah.
but
So what's going on in your part of the world, in New Delhi, Noida, in your business, EXL, a company headquartered in United States and lots of employees in India. Uh,
Mhm,
what's the impact of the war? What are you hearing from clients and customers and employees? And
mhm.
if God hands you a magic wand, what's the solution?
Sure, sure. So I think, look, in terms of impact, you know, obviously there's a lot, maybe which we don't see, but basically the biggest one is obviously we have a lot of our clients who visit us, who come for meetings, who come to see our people, meet the teams because they work very closely with them. So, all of that, a lot of it is reduced, as you would understand. People are a bit wary of crossing over the Middle East. So that's something which is happening. I think, and that also has some impact on us because some of this results in us getting new business and new work. So obviously, that sort of gets impacted. Um, you know, internal travel also gets impacted. So we all have to meet our leadership in the US, or they have to come and visit us. So that also, I'm sure, is not as much as we would like it to be. So all of that's happening. I think work-wise, yeah, sure. I'm sure there is an impact. Maybe not on existing work, but how much new work we would be able to pull in. Um, Magic wand, yeah. I mean, we would all want this to get solved. I'm very happy. I was very happy when I saw the Islamabad talks and all of that. I mean, I don't really. I know there was a lot of discussion about why should Pakistan play mediator, but I felt if they were able to solve it, why not? But I don't know, right? I mean, there are many actors in this conflict, which some of whom we can see, some of whom we can't. Wish the conflict were to reduce. I think there's so many sort of conflicts running these days for years, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's this one, Iran, whether, of course, Palestine's continue, Lebanon continues. So we wish, I think other than business, there's also a lot of human impact of these conflicts. So wish, yeah, I mean, absolutely, these get resolved and people understand that this is not the solution, but obviously that would impact, I guess, the arms industry in this case, maybe even the oil business, right? So, and unfortunately, the magic wand is not with me. So over to you, Navneet. I think thanks for. I think it's a fantastic topic, choosing a great topic for this Saturday.
Thank you so much. All the best with ILA Noida. I know you're doing an event on April 22nd or so at your office. If any of you happen to be in Noida, please join at Satyajit's office. It's 22nd, right, Shanti?
21st, sir. 21st
21st.
evening,
21st.
3:30
Okay,
p.m.
21st.
I'll
Okay, and
put
if you
my email ID on the
okay,
chat, and people want to connect anytime, whether they're on 21st or any other day. If you're in Noida, do feel free to give me a shout. Thank you, guys.
sure. And if
Nice
you
to
have friends and colleagues in Noida, please ask them to join. Um, Other attendees that have been part of ILA before or now are Kovita and Mr. Hashim, Rahul. If you have any questions or if you have comments or if you have solutions, please pitch in. Hello, Kovita.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. It's a wonderful topic for this Saturday. I think that every input which has been put in today was quite helpful. I particularly found the inputs about the force majeure clause to be particularly interesting. I too have observed lawyers be quite hassled with this force majeure clause. A lot of the times, what happens is that force majeure clause do not automatically lead to a complete rescission of obligations of the parties, which creates a lot of issues because the event itself sort of really impacts the performance of the contract itself. So it would be interesting to see how sanctions and otherwise impacts of the war lead to performance of contracts. I really found the suggestion about the mode of payment and that modification to be quite helpful. I think it would really help clients in the real world. And I think that I also really liked your concern about how India has sort of adopted a silent stance in this and how we should, in fact, be giving Gandhian lectures as we used to. But I think there are a lot of factors which are hindering us from doing so today. So it's really interesting to see how this unfolds, and hopefully the ceasefire stays in place and there are not many violations to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Kovita. Dr. Juneja, can you talk?
Hello.
Oh, great. We can
I
hear
don't know
you.
what's
Wonderful.
wrong with the phone. Are
Yeah,
you getting good?
sometimes you have to log off and log on again, which is what you did. It works.
That's great to talk with everyone. Are you getting me or not?
Yes, yes, perfectly. Very loud, very good. So share your thoughts.
You are asking me what happened to the political. You are saying very near to me. So I think India is playing very balanced. Whether it was the Ukraine Russia war or whether it is Iran Israel US war. That is good, I think.
Okay.
And companies adopting those sanction while ensuring continuity in energy supply. I mean, the issue is going in Hormuz. Now Hormuz is open,
Yeah.
and some conditions that, of course, the Lebanon not settled yet. So some of the few points the companies adopt to sanction while ensuring continuity. The companies are reducing reliance on single region.
Mhm.
They're trying away from Russia and actively sourcing from multiple, often geographical, disparate supplier to prevent disruptions and logistical routing and contractual adoptions, vertical integrations, regularizations. So energy firms are using AI-powered platforms to monitor complex multiple layers and rapidly changing sanctions like OFCA, UK, Europe in real time. This helps identify shadow fleet vessels, hidden ownership structures, and indirect sanction risks. So the alternate payments like trade mechanism instead of dollar, the Iran is taking in rupees for the oil. Russia is also dealing with India in rupees. So that is
So,
quite good
so
idea.
Dr. Juneja, I'm wondering, and I will pick on you because you are at the powerhouse of Delhi. Like California has passed a law that after 2035, gas cars will not be allowed to be sold in the state of California. And they enacted this law in 2015 or 20 and told all the car manufacturers that we're giving you a 10, 15-year notice. No car will be sold in California that operates on gas. Given that there is so much of a shortage of petroleum in India and we import 80-90% of our oil, why can't India have rules like that? No more gas cars.
Yeah, India still reserved the gas and oil already. So in this war, India has survived like nothing has happened. Like gas is available, oil is available, diesel petrol rates not high. So it is a strategy of government. So I think it is better diplomacy of India and well planned move towards the other high countries like they are dealing with Russia also, dealing with the Ukraine also, and sometimes handling with the US also. Israel is a good friend of India also. So balance, India is maintaining balance, I think, which is very good for a citizen of India also and for India also to survive further.
Right.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Does anybody else want to share any thoughts about the war, what India should do, our role? Should we take advantage of that we're friends with everyone and should we say something or this too shall pass? Yes, Giteshi.
So I want to ask Dr. Juneja, what happens if a vessel is sanctioned mid-voyage?
Sanctions?
If a vessel is sanctioned mid-voyage, on the way, if the vessel is on the way, and
From
it
Yeah,
is
vessel.
sanctioned on the way,
Obviously, they also need the business. Everybody want a business. Pressure, poor world pressure is on Europe also, Iran also, and US also. So everybody is coming. Hormuz is a very almost 33% of the transportation is going from Hormuz.
so but
So everybody
I had not even heard of Strait of Hormuz before this war. But yeah. Um, Nakul, Hitesh, Gagan, you have an answer to this middle voyage sanctions? Good question, Giteshji.
Me, I have to
Well, sir, yes, you can continue.
carry on, Nitesh. You can say.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Well, sir, I feel that mediation plays a very vital role over this issue because where unlike arbitration, mediation is not about winning or losing. It's about finding a practical and mutually acceptable solutions. So in sanction-related disputes,
I'm
where
sorry, I was on
legal
mute.
enforcement is
It is
where
already sanctioned, sir. It is already sanctioned. Negotiations and the conciliation takes part before that. Before that part, the negotiation part would play before the sanction has been implied. I'm asking what if a voyage have been, if a vessel have been sanctioned in the mid voyage on the way, then at that point, no negotiation would work, no conciliation would work, no arbitration would work.
What about force majeure? So the minute I said that California has a law that no more cars, gasoline cars allowed, why can't India do this? I figured one of you is gonna point out, and Satyajit De has done, that most of the electricity is generated by coal. So how is that clean? Um, but yeah, I guess we've got to figure out why doesn't India have more nuclear power plants is what I've never understood. 90% of the electricity in France is generated by nuclear power, and in India the number's less than 6%. Um, but okay, now that there's war situations like this, India needs to figure out a way to become reliant. And by the way, whatever happened to United Nations? Where are they? Wasn't it created to solve problems like the war going on? And not one single word, except for don't fight. Yeah, Gitesh.
So for UN, so I'm a part of UN Advocacy Council also.
Mhm.
So we have right now brought the change in the UN Charter. We have changed the UN Charter to Article 109,
Okay.
and we have revised that right now. And out of the Security Council, there are 5 members in the Security Council, out of which 2 members haven't had not used their veto vote since 1989.
Okay. Yeah, UN's become pretty useless. I think that for us 1.4 billion Indians in India, we all need to go on hunger strike till India is made one of the Security Council members. We have the world's largest population country and we don't have a seat on the table. And fine, UN was made in 1945. There was no India then, but now we need to have a seat at the table.
I
One of
talked
the
about it. I talked about it. I had raised this question in the UN Advocacy Council also.
Yeah. One of the goals of ILA, we have a lot of lofty goals. We're going to print a list and will be on our website. But one of our goals is that India needs to get a seat on the UN Security Council. All right, great. We've allocated 45 minutes for our session and we've hit that mark. If somebody has any parting comments, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll see you in a few days.
So I just
Thank
want to ask, what is the situation in US? US. So
US,
how the US is dealing with all the situation? What is the insight
We,
about that? And what about the OFAC?
yeah. So US, we have Taco. Trump always changes his mind. So we don't
Okay.
listen to, we don't, the stock market doesn't even care because he'll change his mind. Statistically, 53% of the country is opposed to the war. 32% is in favor of the war. Majority of the Democrats are against the war, and the independent. So let's say the country is one-third Democrat, one-third independent, one-third Republican, roughly. One-third the Democrats are against the war, one-third independents are against the war, one-third of the country Republicans, half of them are against the war, and half of them are in support of the war. The real MAGA people of Trump are in support of the war. Trump's ratings have come down to 29%, the lowest ever. And Israel's ratings have come down. The favorite rating of people in favor of Israel is at one of the lowest points. Uh, since COVID, Americans have only been worried about inflation. Um, Never mind that in the last 50 years, the cost of living has come down in half in the United States. Never mind that. Except for real estate and healthcare, the rest of everything, anything from a paper and a pencil to a table to orange juice to computers to TVs, everything, the price of everything in the country has come down in half. Can you believe that? From 1980 to 2025. Why? Two reasons: China and Walmart. Walmart imports 12% of everything that comes into the country. And because of their buying power, they're able to uh, pretty much lower the prices from every order that they place with their customer, because the customer can't say no. Their supplier, I mean, and the suppliers are all in China, so they're able to reduce the prices. Uh, Walmart sales now, they have 4,600 stores. Their sales are now uh, $2 billion a day. So of the 250 million companies in the world, 99.9% of them don't even have $2 billion in sales in a year. Walmart has that on a daily basis. So because of that, the price of everything is low. But for whatever reason, Americans, I guess they're used to the not paying a lot of money for anything since COVID happened and the government pushed in $3 trillion into the economy. I don't know if you know, but we were told, all the employers in the US were told in 2020 that don't fire employees. We will pay all of your employees' payroll for 1 year. Can you believe that? And not that I was thinking of firing anyone, I had decided I'm not going to fire anyone no matter what. But the government said don't fire anyone to all of the employers that were under 500 employees. Don't fire. We'll pay their payroll. Can you imagine? One whole year's payroll. So there was such a big party going on. So I thought I was going to have the worst year of my life. I had the best year of my life because the government paid. And with a law firm, what is the cost? Employees, right? So 40% of my cost is employees, and the government paid. So ever since that $3 trillion, and the government gave loans. You want loans at 2%, 3%? Fine, no problem. As much money as you want. Don't fire people, whatever, whatever, whatever. If next year they said if you don't fire people, we'll give you $5,000 per employee for employees you don't fire. Anyways, $3 trillion was thrown into the country. And the problem got solved quicker. They thought the problem wouldn't get solved. The problem got solved quick with the vaccination, but by that time it was too late. The country had free floating money, and the inflation happened because of that, and then it wouldn't come down. So, in to answer your question, majority of Americans are opposed to the war because they know that the prices of gas have doubled, petrol has doubled, as you know, they call petrol gas in the US, and so that's their biggest concern. And everybody drives like crazy. They go on vacations on their car, weekends they travel. So when the petrol prices goes up, their life gets on hold. So they're not happy about that. So they're blaming the Iran war for that. They're blaming Trump for that. So that's what's going on, Gagan.
So hopefully Trump is not coming back.
He's not coming back anyways. He's termed out. November, there'll be a midterm elections. The length of the congressional office is 2 years. So the entire Congress, 435 Congress people get elected every 2 years. The Democrats are behind four, and they'll pick up four for sure. So the Democrats will have majority in the lower house, which is the more powerful house. And all of this Trump's dramas will come to an end. Even now, 99% of everything he has passed, the courts have overturned.
Oh,
99%. But you don't
Yes.
hear about the courts overturning because the right-wing media make sure that the overturning of Trump's rules are not covered in as much power as passing of those laws or writing the executive orders. But the courts have ruled in favor of all the universities that the government took money from. The courts have ruled in favor of the law firms that the government got after. Almost everything's been overturned. And the Supreme Court overturned the tariffs. Trump said tariffs the biggest thing he's ever going to do in life, and we're going to raise so much money from tariffs that we're going to abolish the income tax. Give me a break. The US raises $4 trillion from income tax, and they collected $150 billion in tariffs. And he said, oh, we will abolish the income tax. Furthermore, the $150 billion that the government collected, now people are filing for refund lawsuits, including me. We're filing refund lawsuits that our clients paid tariff. Now that the Supreme Court has said the tariffs are illegal, give us the money back. So that's what's going on. Party for the lawyers.
great, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sir, your office is also running on the funds of the government.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And fortunately, the courts are fair, largely. One last branch of the government that's operating neatly and cleanly and fairly. That'll always be the case. There'll be some occasional judges that are swayed here or there or are political leaning. But at the end of the day, the judiciary of United States is unbelievably good.
Oh,
I was in
That
front
means
of a, I was
US
in
की
front,
बल्ले बल्ले. That means US की बल्ले बल्ले.
yeah.
Other
I was in front,
countries are suffering
I was in
from.
front of a judge this morning, and I asked for extension of a trial, and the judge was not happy with me. He denied it last week, and I went again, saying, "Hey, I have four lawyers in LA that do litigation work. The rest do immigration, and there's a trial in 2 weeks. All four are occupied or run away from the country or on vacation or XYZ." And the judge says to me last week, "No, I'm not giving you more time." He says to me, "Why are you bothering me? I have 900 cases, and you worried about your four lawyers?" Um, in any event, so I told him a story, and he says, "How come your story is not in your papers?" I said, "Because somebody else in my firm did the papers." So so he denied it. So I went back again, ex parte. You have to give a 24-hour notice, and you can be in court any day. And so I was there this morning, and he repeated the 900 cases. So there is a code section 473 in California uh, procedures code, and 473 says that if a lawyer files any petition in court and takes
the meeting
responsibility
hours.
that I made a mistake,
Meeting
the
hours.
judge can't deny it, because then the client, if you file a motion in court that meri galti thi, uh, I messed up, please don't punish my client. If you say that in writing under penalty of perjury and file it in piece of paper in court, then the client can sue you for malpractice. So that's why lawyers don't do it. But this morning, in my pleading paper that I submitted last night, I said, because I figured till I plead 473, they're just not going to listen to me. So I said, my lawyer who was in court and agreed to the date didn't tell me or didn't tell the court that he was leaving United States for 3 months. And it's my mistake. I plead under 473, and then the judge had no choice but to give me a new date. But look at this judge, 900 cases. This morning at 8:30 a.m., he heard 30 of them and ruled within seconds on all 30 and had read every darn piece of paper filed and knew it by heart. And when the lawyer would say something, he'd say, you didn't put that in your papers, etc., etc. And in 1.5 hours, he disposed of 30 matters. These were not trials, interim stuff, injunctions and trial sanctions and this and that, but 45, 60 minutes and 90 minutes he disposed of 30 matters. And then punished me by hearing me last because he knew I was coming again. Didn't hear me till he was done with all of them. And he said, oh, you back. I said, okay, fine, I'll hold. But incredible. And every time I go in court, I only think about India. I think about how in this day and age with AI and with communication, and we have 18% of the world lives in our country. And if we could just do this in such an expedient manner, and all the lawyers were on video, by the way, every single lawyer was on video. And on the judge's room, all the lawyers had on a big screen. So we can look at them. And no noise, nobody raised a voice, nobody any drama, unable. And then he was going to take a break at 8:30, 90 minutes he was done, 10 o'clock, he's going to take a break. And at 10:30, he's going to do a trial every single day. Yeah.
It's a-
आप
Okay,
लोग
sir.
कुछ करो, make some noise.
So we are ready to make some noise.
Yeah, but we're not making noise. Somebody said to me, Economist wrote an article 2 months ago that there's a revolution going on in this country, that country, Nepal, Burma, um, etc., etc. And the article said, why are Indians so quiet? And the answers were, and these were not in the Economist. This is from another person. And that person told me, why is there ever going to be a revolution in India? 50% of them have a Dalit quota. 50% of them are farmers. They don't pay taxes. 94% of the country doesn't file a tax return. 6%
So
file, 5% pay tax. Oh, who's doing this revolution?
the answer was given by you in the starting. The India is
Yeah.
a Gandhiwadi country.
So the last line in the Economist article was that the reason the young people of India are not creating noise is because all of the young people in India feel that things are getting better and all of the solutions are around the corner and it's going to be beautiful tomorrow.
True, sir.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
agree.
yeah. But
All for
please make
good.
some noise. Please, let's get together. This is not okay.
The
And who's
initial,
gonna make noise if lawyers
in the
aren't gonna?
between, in the mid of the time, so around 2 or 3 months back, I had raised something. An issue was regarding the UGC. So I had talked with Shanti about the revolution. We should participate in it. We should go against the thing.
Hey guys, did you know that 98,000 CA firms, sole proprietorships and partnerships in India? And did you know, I just came to know 3 months ago and it's been boiling my blood. Did you know that the Indian Institute of Chartered Accountants will not let any of these 98,000 CA firms create and use a logo of their own, and all of them have to use ICAI logo? Can you
Yes.
believe? And then we wonder why there's no innovation in India and why is everybody in India eating Kentucky Fried Chicken? We knew how to fry a chicken before, right? But if you're not even gonna let educated CAs create their own logos, 98,000 different beautiful color size logos, to generate creativity, and ICI is going to force people to use their logo, and we lawyers are letting this happen. So 5 things. Lawyers need to be allowed to advertise. Lawyers need to be allowed to teach without surrendering their license, become assistant general counsel without any restriction or license, open up a business, have a booth at a conference, have a website, and for goodness sake, allow lawyers to work on a contingency fee basis. If India does nothing else but allows lawyers in India to work on a contingency success fee basis, one act alone, my promise to all of you, India becomes a first world nation by 2047. One action.
So Indian Act 1961 need to be amended then.
Yeah, we kicked the British out. What is one line amendment? I asked somebody
So,
at the law ministry this question one day, and you know what he said to me? What is contingency basis? आप क्या बात बोल रहे हो? The guy didn't know what contingency success fee lawyering meant. Yeah. So now the question is, who's suffering? We are the lawyers of India, and the humanity and the society of India is suffering if contingency success fee lawyering is not allowed. And half of the lawyers are doing it illegally. Courts
Yes.
know it too. Judges told me, we know you guys do it, but we're not gonna. But who's gonna make this noise? The lawyers have to make this noise, right? Who else is gonna make this noise?
so if you see the contribution of the countries, the Nepal has more contribution in the legal system in the world more than India.
In what way?
Otherwise, as per the Advocates Act, the lawyer cannot charge 25 more than 25,000 also.
Okay. What happened to restraint of trade? Article 19 in the Indian Constitution, I guess.
And from 1961, it is not being updated. 25,000.
Right.
Yes, otherwise it is a violation of Article 19 also.
Yes. But the judges ain't going to do anything. The government isn't going to do anything. The farmers are not going to do anything. Uh, the Fortune or the Nifty 50 CEOs ain't going to do anything. Only us.
And most of the High Court rules also say so.
So the government have bounded the persons who can make the voice, who can make the noise. The government has already bounded them in the rules and the regulations.
No, that's not correct. I believe we can, of course, make a noise and we can make a representation. We have been doing it. I personally have made various representation to the government for revising the fees of the legal counsels who are appointed on behalf of the government of India, and we have been successful also. For example, the Ministry of Law has already revised their fees, and
Yeah,
now
I
they are.
have also filed 25 PILs in India. In
But
Rajasthan High Court, I have filed
they are
25
nobody to fix
PILs.
our fees.
Sorry,
How our
what?
fees can be fixed? They are nobody to fix our fees. How
I
they
understand,
can
but
fix?
yes, but they are the biggest litigator.
You think if we got 100,000 signatures from lawyers in India, make somebody listen?
So
Yes.
we will.
Otherwise, this rule only exists in the books. Practically, the lawyers are charging whatever they want to.
Correct.
But the thing is, sometimes when there is a litigation or controversy between the client, after getting the services, if he is not paying, then when a lawyer go to the court sometimes say that you cannot charge more than 25,000. How this is permissible? So the courts are dismissing the recovery suits also.
So I think at the end of the day, all we need to do is convince 2, 3 Supreme Court justices, and then this happens, right?
Yes, at least to remove these rules or update them.
Well, it's unconstitutional. The Supreme Court can rule, right? That there's no advertisement, no website, no this, no that as a
Hmm.
restraint on trade.
Way back in 90s, the payment of the notary is also being fixed. I think 5 rupees. It is not revised till date.
Yeah. So, so I attended WOFA, World Forum for Accountants in Noida. There were 5,000 CAs there. And there was a ILA event coming up. So I had printed brochures, flyers of ILA event, and I put it on my booth. And so people started talking to me about ILA and this and that. And then they said, a few of them said, hey, accountants की भी नहीं है organ industry body. आप जैसे बार काउंसिल के इज सेपरेट रेगुलेटरी बॉडी एंड आपने इंडियन लॉयर्स
Yes.
एसोसिएशन शुरू किया है सो आईसीएआई इज अ गवर्नमेंट बॉडी पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया पर इंडस्ट्री बॉडी नहीं है अकाउंटेंट्स की सो आई सेड ओके वो भी शुरू कर देते हैं सो वी गॉट टुगेदर अ बंच ऑफ पीपल एंड वी स्टार्टेड इंडियन एसोसिएशन ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स आईका
Yes.
ठीक है एंड वी फाइल्ड अ सेक्शन 8 paper and the government rejected it that we cannot use the name, the word chartered accountants.
Oh.
Can you believe this? So now we're going to do a society. Yeah, Hitesh.
Yes, I would like to add that many things need to be amended into the Advocates Act, because if you will see, when a student clears his LLB exam, he directly gets enrolled before the bar council of the state bar council, and then he has to appear for a AIB exam. Whereas my point is that why a person is getting enrolled as an advocate and then he is made to appear for AI exam. It should be like, first a person should clear the AIB exam and then he should be enrolled as an advocate before the state bar council. So such things need to be amended before the, I mean, the Advocates
First,
Act, so that
initially you are enrolled in the bar council of your state.
yes, yes,
After that,
and
you
then
are
you are made to
you are
appear for
giving the
AIB
all
exam.
India. After that, you are
Yes.
giving the examination of all India Bar Council examination. So
Yes.
after that, you are getting the license for the all entire India.
But it should
So
be
it is
first a student should be
fine.
made to appear for AIB exam and then he should be enrolled as an advocate to practice as an advocate.
That is only provisional license which is being given.
That's only 2 years. And after that, I think that 2 years of practice time should be given to youngsters so that they can have the practical nuances as well. Just more than a theory-based lawyer, you should also have the practical knowledge. I'll say the practical courtroom experience. For that, 2 years is necessary.
The
You should be given
concern
that
should
chance.
be the exam should not be formality. It should
Yeah,
be
exam
much stricter.
is turned
But
it's an open book exam and it's no more. matlab, even any Tom, Dick,
Yeah,
and Harry can
it's a
go
bit
and
of
just
a
In that way,
formality.
we can increase the quality of the lawyers also. The exam should be fair, and that should be some having the stringent and strict, not so easy.
Yes,
Should not
yes.
be
I
so
believe
easy.
that is just a stepping
like
stone
CA,
in this field,
like
and we
the
will be
CAs
improving.
control the number, the volume of CAs getting introduced in the market. Yeah. The bar council also should also go through this theory, matlab, whether they are qualified lawyers or they are just quantity of lawyers.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
but I feel
Wonderful.
that the AIB exam should be prior to getting enrolled as a advocate before the state
But the
bar
thing is,
council.
what a person will do if they are not conducting the exams for 1 year or 2 years, for that period, what he will do? If 90
They are more
90% of
Then
yes,
yes, then he can get the provisional. I mean, practicing.
same is
License
happening.
from the state bar.
Provisional they are giving. They have after examination the license they are giving.
They are giving
They
the
are giving the license
provisional.
only
and
They
only
are
after
giving
for.
two
the
years,
provisional license only. If you see
Hmm.
the on the license, it is written, it is valid only provisionally. It is granted to you.
Provisionally for 2 years.
and if the
Hitesh,
exam is not cleared, your license is revoked for the time being, suspended. You
Yes.
can't practice.
Hitesh never took the bar
Yes,
exam.
sir.
This is after his time, right, Hitesh?
Yes, sir.
No, once I got enrolled before I gave my bar exam in the year 2013. So once I got enrolled before the State Bar Council, then I was made to appear for AIB. So my concern is that a person should be first made to appear for AIB exam. If he qualifies and if he clears the AIB exam, then he should be enrolled as an advocate. So that amendment needs to be brought up before the Advocates Act. Because an advocate means a person who is being giving a license to appear before a court. So it is like you are being enrolled as an advocate and then you are being stopped to practice as an advocate just because you have to clear the AIB exam. So I feel that such things needs to be amendment into an Advocates Act, wherein a person should first clear the AIB exam. If he clears, then he should be made to practice as an advocate, and he
So
must be
you are
enrolled
an
as an
advocate,
advocate
you can
before the State
file
Bar Council.
PIL. You can file a
Advocate has
PIL.
amendments and fees. There
You
are
have the
a
right. You
plethora of
have.
mechanisms right now.
So
You
Hitesh,
should
many
raise
years
your
ago,
voice.
I enrolled in a law school in India, and I flew every 4 months to take the exams, first the internal, then the external. And then I was told, it took me 4 or 5 years. Then I was told there's a bar exam. I said, okay. So I went. Bar exam was September 15th. I land in India on September 13th. On September 14th, I'm told the exam's canceled. So I said, okay, I flew for no reason. Then I called AIB and I said, when's the next exam? And they said, check the website on a daily basis. Anyways, so finally I took the exam, open book, and I bought one book. And I didn't realize that open book means that somebody can steal your book also. So I put the book under my chair. And after a
So
while I
that
looked
sharing,
for it, it was gone. I said, okay, theek hai, jo bhi hai. And I did so bad, like miserably bad. I said, okay, fine, failed. And then I get the piece of paper, congratulations, you passed. I'm like, okay, this exam meant nothing.
Yes, that is the issue.
Yeah. But I'm
their
so happy
advocates
about
are
this
also
conversation today because I've been doing many webinars and meeting with many people. Uh, but I'm glad this conversation is so good today, and we're at least getting on the same page and one by one, this making noise. I think the biggest issue is only we can fix it. Nobody's gonna come fix our lives. Nobody.
Yes.
That's true.
So, okay. Um, Thank you, everyone. Please do your events in your cities, even if it is two people having coffee together on the third Thursday of every month. We count that as an event. Please continue doing whatever. Invite people to
Thank you,
your
sir.
office for
Thank
a
you.
cup of tea.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you.
there's Satyajit, the General Counsel of EXL, who's become president of ILA Noida. Shanti and I said to him, hey, can you do an event at your office? We'll bring some people. He says, sure. So nobody, no general counsel is going to say no to you if you say, hey, can we come to your office? Give us a cup of tea and a biscuit and tell us about your life and how did you become successful, etc. So thank you, thank you,
Thank
Congratulations to
you.
Thank you,
Satyajit.
sir. Thank you. Congratulations, sir. Thank you.
thank you,
Appointed as
thank you very
president.
much.
All right.